Oh.
Melanie, can you hear us there in Las Vegas?
Hey, guys, we can hear you. Good to see you.
Is Melanie there?
Yep, she's coming up now.
Melanie, are you going to stay there at the conference table?
Pardon, Governor?
Can you remain at the conference table so I don't have to call to you?
Correct. Yes, I will. I'll just grab my phone.
You ready to go?
We are, Governor.
Are we waiting on any other board members?
No, this is all the board members we're expecting today.
Okay. All right, welcome everybody. I'm going to call the board for today's meeting of the GOED board scheduled for today. And Melanie, can you ask whoever's on the line to mute their phone or whatever it is?
Excuse me, all those online, could you please mute your phones? I mean, mute yourselves. And your phones. Or your phones.
All right, we will start over. We will call to order today's meeting of the GOED board scheduled for today, July 25th, 2024 at 2 p.m. So just a little change in the procedure. I'm going to do the public comment admonishment prior to the roll call. So persons wishing to provide public comment remotely may access the meeting by telephone or through the Teams link posted on the agenda. Please limit comments to 3 minutes. Public comment will be available at the beginning of the meeting and as the last item on the agenda. Telephone call-in number is 775-321-6111. And the phone conference ID number is 931-174-14#. That'll give you time to get situated. While you do that, we will call the roll. Ms. Sheldon?
Melanie Sheldon for the record. Governor Joe Lombardo.
Here.
The Lieutenant Governor is unable to attend, as is the Secretary of State. Dr. Weldon Havens.
Present.
Ms. Sasha Stevenson. Present. Thank you. Mr. Jay Barrett.
Present.
Ms. Yolanda King.
Present.
Mr. Rose Becht was unable to attend, but Governor, we do have quorum, and I'll just call the non-voting members. Mr. Crystal.
Present.
Thank you. Ms. Patricia Charlton. She did have a meeting conflict and said she would try and attend afterwards. Ms. Joan Ebert is on vacation, and then we have Dr. Chris Sanchez.
Present.
Thank you. Governor, we have a quorum.
All right, we'll move into the first opportunity for public comment. As stated before, please limit your comments to 3 minutes. Do we have any public comment there in Las Vegas?
We do, Governor.
Please come forward and state your name.
Hi, Governor. Jared Smith, Economic Development Director for the City of Henderson. Just wanted to take a moment to make a few points for you today. Governor, I'm pleased to rise in support of two of our companies with the City of Henderson that are coming before you today. We've worked closely with them. And so I just wanted to tell you how appreciative I am of your team for helping them through this incentive process and the importance of those incentives to the growth of our existing companies. Governor, I want you to know what's going on in the City of Henderson, where we're pushing in economic development with you and your team. And I would be remiss, Governor, if I didn't say thank you for the time you spent with our team and A&A. The visit that you did, I know that those types of visits are impactful, not only for me and my team in the city, but also for the companies. Governor, we're working closely with these existing companies to help them grow. And so what that means is we're helping bring those workforce development resources to them. We're iterating our internal processes to make it easier to do business with government in the City of Henderson. We're constantly searching with you and with the Governor's Office of Economic Development for companies that are outside the region that are a great fit for us. And with the help of you and your team, Director Burns and his team, Mayor Romero herself has been on the road with us talking with companies. And we want you to know that we are vetting not only are they the right industries for us, but that have a good culture, Governor. We are producing great research that's going to be coming your way. So not only have we studied our target industries that are perfect for Henderson, but also we're looking at skills gaps, Governor, so that we can ask our friends in workforce development, here's what's in demand and skills, and here's where we are. What does that gap look like? And what resources can we bring to bear to help close those skills gaps for the jobs of tomorrow? And finally, Governor, I want you to know that we're committed to workforce development for all Nevadans and helping companies connect with those resources. So our team and I, along with you and your team, we're doing everything that we can to be in the face of our existing companies to help them grow. And I just wanted to tell you personally from the City of Henderson and from me and my team, thank you to you and your team. Bob Potts is an amazing resource. Director Burns, as always, Melody Sheldon, and you personally. Thank you, Governor.
Thank you. Any other comment there in Las Vegas?
No, Governor.
All right, do we have any public comment here in Carson City? All right, seeing none. Anybody on Teams or on the phone?
No, Governor.
All right. We will close the public comment section and move to agenda item number 3, approval of the May 23, 2024 GOED board meeting minutes for possible action. Do any board members have any questions or concerns? Hearing none,
No.
I'll entertain a motion for approval.
Move to approve Havens. Second by Barrett.
Who brought the second?
Barrett.
Okay, Jay, thank you. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any against? No. Hearing none, motion passes. Thank you. All right, at this point, we'll move on to the presentation by Executive Director Burns on the director's report.
Thank you, Governor. Tom Burns for the record. In June, the governor's office, along with GOED, hosted an economic summit in Las Vegas where economic development agencies and leaders were invited to assess and address economic strengths and weaknesses in the state, aiming to enhance strategic initiatives moving forward. Work from our office helped Nevada win a coveted 2024 Silver Shovel Award from Area Development Magazine, an accolade recognizing state economic development agencies that have achieved significant success in attracting new business investment and job creation. GOED assisted company Redwood Materials, whose battery materials facility in Story County will contribute $1.1 billion capital investments in Nevada's economy, was cited by Area Development as an important element in winning this award. GOED continues to build out the elements of the 5-year comprehensive state plan, most recently in the area specifically related to the water sector. This is a collaborative effort between SRI, WaterStart, and Nevada Water to develop water policy for economic development. This work will place Nevada in the forefront of having economic development policy that strategically and intentionally manages this critical resource. GOED is working with Dieter and Owen on building out the state's in-demand occupation and critical alignment between economic and workforce development. This collaborative effort includes updating existing reports to be more user-friendly and building out a dynamic portal that will appear on both the OWIN and GOED future websites. Earlier this month, Nevada secured $21 million from the U.S. Economic Department Administration for the next phase of the Lithium Loop Tech Hub. Led by UNR in partnership with numerous agencies and stakeholders, funding received will help Nevada's domestic production and manufacturing of crucial technologies. This is a big win for our state. To the board, I in the past recognized Carson Heinz and his team for the outstanding work, and Mr. Heinz and his team were a significant part of this, as well as the conversation I'll have around the NSF engine. This complements ongoing collaborations with the EDA in the developing local comprehensive economic development strategy plans and development districts. These assets enhance the eligibility for EDA grants and opportunities in the future. Following the approval by the Nevada Board of Examiners, GOED launched into a program based on an individual career mapping and training delivery model developed under Terry Westergaard's leadership. This initiative program focuses on minority and women population, leveraging Nevada's public library networks to enhance access to career exposures, skill assessments, training programs, and employer connections. Funded with approximately $1.5 million from a 2019 Attorney General settlement with T-Mobile, this program aims to close career navigation and training gaps for underrepresented groups. NSF Engine's timeline was released in the NSF Regional Innovation Program solicitation and the Development Award Team, advancing the circular economy for lithium batteries, submitted in its letter of intent on June 16th, and will submit its associated preliminary proposal by June 6th. If invited, a full proposal would be due in January 11th, 2025.
June 6th or August 6th.
I apologize, it was August 6th. Thanks, Governor. If invited, the full proposal would be due on February 11th, 2025. GOED's Carson Heinz, again, is the co-P on the project, and currently the team is conducting intensive working strategy sessions to prepare for the proposal narrative and the writing stage. The Office of Entrepreneurship continues to work with the regional development authorities to review and identify community issues and small business education and financing. Working groups have been established with the Nevada Systems of Higher Education, Secretary of State, Lieutenant Governor's Office of Small Business Advocacy. At the end of this fiscal year, June 30th of 2024, there were 12 WIN grants awarded across 4 NSHE partner institutions, including the College of Southern Nevada, Great Basin College, Truckee Meadows Community College, and Western Nevada College, that will be able to deliver over 1,500 people training by the end of fiscal year 25. Great Basin Community College in Elko assigned a workforce development partnership with NORCAT, an Ontario-based innovation center to address workforce shortages and advanced mining training programs. That is a direct result of our trip to Canada in September of 2023. With a little more than $3 million remains in the WIN fund for awards and continuing through the fiscal year. In the film office, $10.5 million film tax incentives were approved for several productions that will grow the local economy and hire hundreds of Nevadans for cast and crew. Highlights include TV series actors Seth Rogen and Bryan Cranston, and the first season of a new game show hosted by Shaquille O'Neal. The Community Development Block Grant Office has awarded $2.9 million to community development projects in Ely, Lincoln, Nye, and Washoe. Governor Lombardo sent out the awards of a letter to each community with their projects and grants that started July the 1st. GOED co-sponsored a Southern Nevada delegation to the Biotech Innovation Organization convention in San Diego, hosting over 120 meetings with bioscience companies from all over the world. Multiple leads continue to be pursued along with several sites to the region, which are a strong indicator of our future investment. GOED's in healthcare industry specialist Vance Farrow and I traveled to Los Angeles to tour and meet with the principals of the Transplant Center of the Keck Medical Center of USC last week. We discussed their transplant center coming to Las Vegas that will initially focus on heart and liver transplant procedures, but will also include lung, kidney, and pancreas transplant procedures as the need arises. We also discussed how best our office can support their expansion through logistical partnerships associated with workforce development and needs that will be critical to their success. International trade during the 10th annual Select USA Investment Summit, Governor Lombardo has announced 5 international companies' investment and expansion plans in Nevada, showcasing the incredible work of GOED's RDA, Regional Development Authorities, and Economic Development Organization, and the attraction of new business and growing an existing business throughout the state. We also were able to acquire a good half dozen leads that will continue to have conversations about their future plans in Nevada. Another company, Canadian company, FTE Drilling, recently made Winnemucca the year's headquarters, thanks to Humboldt County RDA and Executive Director Michelle Hammond-Allen for facilitating this project. And a small number that did not make your notes, and I apologize for this, was for Apex, which is part of the network of national Apex accelerators that's funded in part by the U.S. Department of Success. We're celebrating National Apex Day this fall, and in anticipation of the celebration, here's some examples that we have reported in the past of success stories in government. There's been Live Electric, a women-owned small business in Las Vegas, SCA Design, a small business specializing in special architectural design, was awarded a number of contracts to Las Vegas. Lyra Electric, which provides for electrical installation and many other services, is a minority-owned business in Southern Nevada. I know that the folks, Apex, are proud to be hosting an event with NASA in the upcoming months to talk about possibilities of our local businesses doing business with NASA. And Governor, that concludes my report.
All right, thank you, Director Burns. Do we have any questions of Mr. Burns from any board members on the director's report? All right, hearing none, seeing none, I have a few questions.
Yes, sir.
First, and please, anybody shout out if you have the answers to the questions if Director Burns doesn't. But what the hell is a silver shovel?
It is.
Why is it not a gold shovel? What's the deal?
Somebody else got number 1.
Yeah, somebody else, yeah.
So it's number 2.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then if you go over into the $21 million award from the EDA,
Yes, sir.
and my understanding in the original application, we were advised, the 30 applicants that it was culled down to was gonna eventually be culled down to 8. And the award was gonna be in the area of 70 to 80 million.
Yeah, we had
Do you
requested,
have any idea what happened?
by speculation,
Yeah.
we had asked for $71 million. There were 12 awardees that were given out. For the most part, nobody got all of the award that was that they had asked for. There is speculation that in an election year, they were trying to pass around money throughout a number of the states. Nobody received everything they asked for, and we have received feedback. There's a possibility of future awards based on the execution of the awards you were given recently.
Do you know what was omitted in our application?
We only had, there were, I don't remember all 7 tenants. I can tell you that all 5 tenants. There were 2 that were funded, workforce development and Native American initiatives. So the manufacturing research and recruiting, yes, recruiting and supply chain were omitted.
Okay. All right, and then on Film Office.
Yeah.
Do you know the name of that TV series?
I do not, but
Do you, Alex?
Cam, are you there?
Yes, I'm here. It's called The Studio. It's set to air on Apple TV Plus next year.
What is it called?
Say again, Cam.
The name is The Studio. It's about a film studio. Hollywood loves projects about Hollywood.
Kim, are they filming throughout the city or in one stage?
They are primarily filming at the Venetian Casino. That is where their headquarters are. They spent about 2 weeks there.
Okay. And then I think I had one additional question on the medical
Yes.
transplant. Is this in competition what we're already trying to achieve in the medical transplant? I know Renown is involved in the kidney aspect. Is this going to be a competing transplant effort?
So they have established, and ideally not, they have established a center in cooperation with the Culinary Union down in Southern Nevada already that deals with diagnosis and the need. And then our Las Vegas residents are then go to LA for the transplant and all the pre-treatment and post-treatment. So we're trying to get the facilities and the infrastructure available. So at least at this time, the pre and post treatment of our citizens can happen.
All right, thank you. Appreciate that. Now we will move on to agenda item number 5. And Mr. Scheetz, are you going to be doing that?
Well,
Okay, we'll hear on the presentation of the metrics report.
share my screen. If you're looking at it, I will be free. All right, Governor, thank you. Board members, thank you for having me. My name is Steve Scheetz, Research Manager for GOED. I'm going to briefly walk you through this.
Hey, Governor, we don't have sound down here.
Go ahead.
Can you hear me now?
I guess. Go ahead.
Can you hear me now?
Can you
Yep,
hear
we
me?
can hear you now. Yep, we can hear you.
So as I was mentioning, my name is Steve Scheetz for the record, Research Manager for GOED. I'm going to go through briefly this front summary of our business development pipeline. Due to the timing of this board meeting and where it landed on the calendars in relation to June 30th, when the quarter ended, we didn't have a chance to put together a full metrics report, so that's why I'm just going to bring to you this business development pipeline summary. So if we jump up to the top, those first 3 boxes are going to show us the assisted companies, the number of companies, the first 2 years of jobs, and once they're fully built out and operational, what the estimate for their 5-year job plan is. And these assisted companies, to clear up any sort of confusion, these consist of both incentivized and non-incentivized. So they may receive tax abatements or they may not. The point is, we or through our regional development authorities, we've assisted them in some meaningful way, whether it be working through the permitting process or acquiring land or through workforce issues. So some way that we've helped them either establish or expand their operations here in Nevada. And so as you can see, this is through June 30 of 2024. So it's going to be the first 2 quarters, first half of this year. We've helped 27 companies. Their estimate for the first 2 years jobs, they're going to hire 1,530 employees, and 5-year build out jobs is 1,729 employees. So you can see we helped more companies, 27, and we're up from the same time last year. However, we're slightly down on the employment rate. That's largely contributed to the fact that in the same time period a year prior, we approved Tesla for abatements, and they did roughly 3,000 jobs in their build out numbers. So if we take out Tesla from that data set, kind of set it over here and compare it to the rest, historically, this actually falls pretty well in line with our average. If we want to jump down to that second row of boxes, you can see our weighted average hourly wage is 32.
Okay, Mr. Scheetz,
Yes.
Governor Lombardo for the record. So when do we no longer consider Tesla?
Well, that's a great question. When we're comparing year over year, same time periods, naturally we can't.
Yeah, but when does that terminate?
That's going to be January of next year.
January next year. Okay.
Great question. So for the first half of the year, our weighted average hourly wage is $32.85. Now, the Department of Employment, Training and Rehabilitation just released their new updated statewide average wage numbers. And for last year, it was $29.28. This new revised number for this fiscal year, starting July 1st, was $32.51. So as you can see, this weighted average exceeds both of those numbers. That center box there shows the company investments on capital projects. Right now, it's showing $722 million for the first half of the year. To put that in context, it shows that over the year we're down. However, if we once again move that one outlier, our quarterly average is typically about 230 million. And so just doing quick math, that would be about sitting here 2 quarters into the year. We're sitting at about 1.5 times what our quarterly average is. So we're doing well on the investment. I included this kind of colorful chart here, this blue chart, because I had the space to do so. And I thought it was important to kind of show the mix of what these 27 companies make up with that 1,500 jobs. And as you can see, over 80% fall into logistics and operations, followed by manufacturing and then natural resources. This is pretty consistent with our historical trend. However, if you look historically, manufacturing and logistics is kind of swapped almost 1 for 1. And then if we jump down to that lower row, the third row, we have our leads, prospects, and wins. Now this is going to be just for this last quarter, so we're not considering the full 2 quarters that we're into the year. But for quarter 2 of 2024, we've had 53 leads and 55 prospects, ultimately landing on 16 wins. So as I've explained in the past, this is very much kind of like a funnel. You have your leads at the top, you kind of filter out the tire kickers and the folks that may not be necessarily serious about moving to Nevada. Then you have your prospects. They've invested the time and the energy. Maybe they've had a site visit or 2 here, and they're kind of narrowing in on a short list of sites in which they're going to land. And then the wins are ultimately companies that end up setting up shop or expanding on their business operations here in Nevada. And so as you can see, the first 2 are, they're very volatile. They're going to be up and down. However, for the quarter, we're actually up. Our average is typically about 10 to 11 wins. And in this case, we've had 6, and that's in no short part to the efforts of our regional development. And that's the end of my report. If you have any questions, I'm happy to jump in.
Do we have any questions, Mr. Scheetz?
Governor, this is Yolanda. I have a question. On the bottom chart where it shows prior year, is that prior fiscal year, current year? What is prior year defined as?
Great question. Steve Scheetz for the record. That's actually the same time period last year, so January through June of 2023.
Is that not the prior quarter or
For
the
the
quarter?
quarter?
Yeah,
I'm sorry, that's just for the quarters. This is the second quarter of 2023, so April through June.
okay. I didn't hear everything you said. So the prior quarter is April through June
Correct.
and the prior year is what time period?
So prior year is going to be April through June of 2023. And prior quarter, I mistakenly misunderstood your question. It's going to be January through March of this year.
Okay, it sounds like prior year is like a quarter reporting period.
If I may, board member, as you look, the heading on it, which is, I understand the confusion. It says number of bleeds. Oh, I was at the wrong one. Number of assisted wins, Q2 of 2024. So it compares last quarter, which would have been January through end of March, versus this quarter, April through the end of June. And the prior year would have been the same time period, April through June of 23 versus 24.
What he said.
Okay. Okay, I think I understand it. It's the prior year quarter is what the information is reporting on, and then the prior quarter. Okay, I think I got it. Thank you.
This is Bob Potts for the record. In the future, we can change that label to the same period of year ago.
There we go.
Big news.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yep.
Did you hear that, Yolanda?
I did. Thank you.
Any other questions? All right, thank you, Mr. Scheetz. We'll move on to agenda item number 6, employment rate update. That would be you, right, Tom? I mean, Bob.
The other side. Yeah, for the record, it's Bob Potts. I'm the Deputy Director of the Governor's Office, straight feed here. So Governor and Board, I'll keep my comments kind of brief, but I think it's pretty interesting when we look at the unemployment rate. We always watch the 12-month average, the trailing average on the unemployment rate to take the seasonality out of it. All the county unemployment rates, they come out of the current population survey that the Bureau of the Census does. And it's a household survey, and it's based on a panel, and they don't seasonally adjust it until almost a year. It'll get adjusted. So you have to take the 12 months, and that by definition gives you a seasonally adjusted number. And that's what we want to work with, because else the volatility of seasonal events like holiday hiring or something like that could really skew our decision making, as the unemployment rate is an important criteria on whether companies have to meet full abatement requirements or reduced abatement requirements. And so, as you can see in here, for the month of June, these numbers came out on Tuesday, thanks to our friends Dieter. Right now, their county in the state on this trailing 12-month is below 7%. This has actually been the 34th month for every county in the state has been below 7%. So it's been a pretty robust economy. Statewide, the seasonally adjusted number that came out on Tuesday is 5.2%. It's been at or near 5.2% since January of 2021. So roughly 30 months, we've had what economists would call structural employment or full employment. So based on the unemployment rate, the economy's been really healthy for quite a time. So I don't have more to add other than, as you can see, we added in the previous month numbers in here for March, so you can look at. It's actually should be May at the labels off there. So May against June, again, I caution looking too much. If you look down through the percent change on that second from the right column, you're going to see that the highest rate would be like in Esmeralda County. Esmeralda County is a very small county, and because it's a household-based survey and it's panel, they look at different panels, sample sizes get really small, and so you can end up with quite a bit of volatility. So that's one thing I would caution on that part. But I think it's helpful, and doing the 12-month trailing again helps mitigate some of those spikes that you see, that you would have seen otherwise. Just the current month seasonally unadjusted unemployment. So I know that's probably way confused, but I'm happy to answer the questions.
For the record, Governor Lombardo. Bob, with the mining claims come, some of them coming to fruition. Is there any way we can add an identifier, especially on our rural counties? A significant change in the unemployment rate associated with those openings?
For the record, Bob Potts, yes, we can. The data is always a little bit lagged, but the great news is that there's actually 3 different employment series where we track job numbers. One of them is at the industry level. You can actually look at individual companies, in this case mining companies, and see what they're doing. It's quarterly number. It lags a little bit, but we could actually look at quarter by quarter by quarter.
Yeah, if we could do that,
Sure.
it would probably give us a better sense, because we can have a good sense, you know, via Carson and Douglas and Washoe and Clark, but the rest of them, we don't have a good sense.
Yeah, just because of the small sample.
Yeah, because, you know, interesting enough, I don't know what matrix I read about, but there was 4 cities within the state of Nevada that had a decrease in population.
Correct.
Right? So, okay.
Plug in for the Main Street program there. That's why we're doing that, is to keep the rural going strong.
Okay. Any questions of Mr. Potts?
Governor, this is Yolanda. I just want to make a comment and thank the staff for including the percentage change on the unemployment rates. I think it'll be a good indicator going forward for us to keep an eye on, you know, if there are any counties that are escalating up towards that 7% metric. Thank you.
Did you understand that?
I did. Well,
Well, mineral, I mean, they're right on the cusp, so.
Yeah.
both mineral and mine. Yep.
Okay, thank you. Any further questions of Director Potts? All right, we will close agenda item number 6 and move on to item number 7, possible action. It will be the abatement application for board approval. And we'll kick it off with item 7A, Alliance North America doing business as A&A Incorporated, asking for a sales tax abatement, modified business tax abatement, and personal property tax abatement. Will that be presented by you, Mr. Walsh?
It will, Governor. Thank you, and good afternoon. Good afternoon. For the record, Michael Walsh with the Las Vegas Global Economic Alliance, representing A&A today. I'd like to introduce you to Alicia Wainio, CFO, RJ Haffey, VP of Finance. A&A is requesting sales and use tax abatement, modified business tax abatement, and the personal property tax abatement for their planned expansion in Henderson. A&A will have a capital equipment investment of $8.3 million. They will hire 25 employees within the first 24 months of the expanded operations, with an average wage of $29.63. You'll notice in your package that A&A has submitted an executed healthcare coverage letter of intent, and the application has the full support of the Las Vegas Global Economic Alliance. A little bit about A&A. They are a leading provider. I'm not going to steal your thunder. They are a leading provider of mobile power and compression solutions. A&A has developed the Energy Boss TM, a next generation proprietary proven hybrid power technology that helps customers lower energy and O&M cost and reduce emissions 65% or more. Before turning it over to Alicia, I'd like to recognize and thank the City of Henderson and the Economic Development Team for their support and work on this project. Without further ado, Alicia and RJ to answer the questions or explain the project in further detail and to answer any questions that you may have. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Walsh. Thank you, Governor and Board, for considering our application. We're excited to be here and to be talking to all of you today about A&A. We moved into Henderson 2 years ago from Southern California. We opened our headquarters and have absolutely flourished in the state of Nevada. So we're committed to being here for the long term. And we're excited to be expanding. We're expanding now and in the future as we're looking at our growth plans. I think the last plan we've kind of penciled out got us to thousands of jobs here over the term of the tax abatement. So we're excited to do that and to answer any questions for you. But I did want to mention that these incentives are important for our expansion. So we really thank you for your consideration.
We have any questions? Any board members? A&A.
Just a comment, if I might, Governor, this is Sasha Stevenson. Well, I think it's always going to be a primary goal for the state to look to bring in outside industry. I really like when we can look at a company that's already here, especially when there's a projected ROA of 25-1. So I just want to say thanks for bringing this to our attention. I think it's important that we have a nice match and balance of those.
Governor, this is Yolanda. I just have a question on your health plan.
Yeah.
So with this expansion, you'll be adding 25 additional employees. And I don't see any information with regard to the health insurance plans. It says TBD. I'm assuming the intent is not for the new 25 people to have like a separate health plan. It should
Correct.
be under the same plan that you have now.
Yeah, the reason it's TBD is because we consider our next year's plan in the month of October, and they're not even able to quote us
Okay.
until September.
Okay.
So, but our intent is for all of the employees to benefit from the increase in our contribution.
Thank you.
So Alicia, Governor Lombardo for the record. So this 200,000 square foot in coming months, was that building adjacent to your existing building?
Yes, it is. Yeah, thanks for remembering that. We appreciate your visit to our facility.
And then the 25 job creation, where are those employees coming from?
Yeah, so that's a combination of staff to manufacture our energy bus, as well as engineers to continue our product development work. So we've been working with UNLV engineering department to find interns to start staffing those open roles. We've also been recruiting locally. And we also use various temp agencies. We're working with the LVGEA to understand all the programs that are available and employ Nevada as well.
Are you having any employees transplant to Henderson from other locations?
Initially, when we moved 2 years ago, we had 16 families move with us from Southern California. And we've had a few others move since then, but majority of our recruiting and our hiring has been local.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Are there any other further questions? If not, I'll entertain a motion for approval.
Yolanda King, I will move for approval.
Second, Sasha Stevenson.
All right, we have a motion for approval. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any against? No. Hearing none, motion passes. Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Governor.
Thank you. All right, moving on. So we will move on to agenda item number 7B, Apple Incorporated, data center sales tax abatement. And will that be?
Right here.
Oh, there she is. Heather, are you doing the presentation?
Yes.
Thank you. Go ahead.
Good afternoon. My name is Heather Westman Gross, serving business development and corporate attraction efforts representing the Economic Development Authority of Western Nevada, or EDON. Apple meets the requirements of the tax abatement application that you have before you. Apple's decision to build a data center in our region in 2012 instigated a wave of major technology-based investments occurring in the Northern Nevadan region. Apple was considered the first. Apple's plan to expand its present facilities will enable added capacity to initiate better efficiencies in delivering services. Apple demonstrates a model for sustainable growth, adding value to our tech-based economic development efforts. We acknowledge the impact of Apple's first and current commitments. New capital expenditures in professionals, equipment, and facility enhancements will serve this campus over the next several years. Undoubtedly, it will bring and attract other company investments. Apple's leadership has hired candidates locally, as from the University of Nevada, Reno, to help run their facilities. This also helps the community. Apple's dedication to education and community-based initiatives are also improving our economy. I'd like to acknowledge this afternoon Barbara Smith Campbell, former chairman of the Nevada Tax Commission, present today, and from Apple, Terry Ryan, senior tax director, and Brian Klein, Apple site manager serving the Northern Nevadan campus. I'm pleased to introduce and welcome Rod Dearden, senior manager of state and local government affairs, representing Apple's expansion project today, to you, Governor Lombardo, the Government Office of Economic Development, elected officials, and stakeholders present today. Thank you.
Thank you. Sir, can you state your name?
Sure. I think you say for the record, Rod Giradon, I'm the director.
Giradani?
Well, at one point it was.
Okay.
Rod Giradon, the director of state and local government affairs for Apple for the Western US. And Mr. Governor, members of the board, staff, thank you very much for having me here today and for your ongoing partnership. Since we began operating here in 2012, our partnership and state programs, along with the strong talent here, have made Nevada a great place to grow. Today, I'm happy to share that we're seeking to invest another $1 billion in our Reno data center and facility in the decade ahead. I'd also like to emphasize our commitment to making a positive impact in the Reno Sparks region, not only for the more than 200 team members who support our data center facility, but to help the broader community continue to thrive. This philosophy has always been deeply embedded in the way we work and the partnerships we've built here. Since day one, our facility was run on 100% renewable energy. Today, it's powered by 4 solar projects that Apple created thanks to our partnership with NV Energy. In addition to providing the renewable energy for Apple's facilities, these projects also help support the local power demands for the growing Reno and Sparks regions. And we've continued to reach new milestones in sustainability at the facility over the years, like earning certifications in water stewardship and zero waste. We're also proud to contribute to programs and organizations that support families and neighborhoods here. That includes some of the noteworthy organizations that Heather mentioned, like Environlution, the Children's Cabinets, the Food Bank of Northern Nevada, and others. For Apple, our hope is to continue our strong track record of exceeding our investment commitments. To date, we have invested more than $3 billion in our data center operations here, far exceeding the prior commitments we've made to the state. We look forward to a continued partnership with the Nevada Governor's Office of Economic Development and the Economic Development Authority of Western Nevada. And we appreciate the consideration of the state's incentive programs, as they will have a significant impact to the project. Thank you. And thank you for your consideration.
Thank you, Rod. Any questions of Apple? Any of the board members?
Governor, this is Yolanda. I have a question of council. I believe Mr. Ryan is in the room. Mr. Ryan is currently a board member, director for the Nevada Taxpayers Association, which is my current employer. So I am assuming I will need to abstain from this vote.
Thank you for that. Any other questions or concerns?
Governor
This time,
Sasha,
Sorry, Sasha Stevenson. I just wanted to ask, just for the record, in the application, it said that Oregon and Arizona were being considered for the expansion and relocation. Is it safe to assume that that search is going to be called off if this abatement is approved?
Rod Diridon with Apple, for the record. We can say that we are very eager to grow in Nevada. The partnerships that we've had, the caliber of employee that we've been able to get for our site, and the partnerships that we've had with the local school districts to, in fact, train the future workforce are extremely enticing. So we are looking very forward to investing another $1 billion over the next decade in the state of Nevada.
Great, thank you.
Governor Jay Barrett, a question.
Go ahead, Jay.
What's the time period over which the capital expenditure will take place?
Rod Diridon with Apple, for the record. The timeframe isn't set. We know we have a 10-year window, which we've discussed in the application. However, those plans will be put into place to some extent pending the outcome of the discussion today. But again, I'll say that we are very excited about continuing to expand in the state of Nevada.
Thank
Governor, if I may comment.
Sure.
My name is Tom Burns, for the record. I wanted to disclose to the board members that my son is employed with Apple and is actually in the real estate and construction division. He does not work in the same silo that works on the data centers, but his immediate boss would be the same as the boss that the peer that would be working on this project. I've discussed this with our counsel, also counsel from the governor's office, and there is no conflict.
Thank you. Governor Lombardo, for the record. So, Mr. Barrett, Jay, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Are you in possession of the confidential document as a board member on the capital equipment purchase?
Yes, I am.
So I think it delineates or answers some of your question you had there.
Yes. Yeah, I just was curious for our discussion here.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
I guess one of the questions I have for you in general, because of our situation in the state of Nevada and the ability to provide you power, are you well situated in that
Yes.
space?
Yes,
Not an issue. So that's not a preventative issue for you.
I don't believe so. Let me confirm very quickly. My understanding is correct. We are good with our current level of power. We're also seeking to create more additional resource that will be, of course, clean energy, which is our portfolio.
Right.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you for the question.
Any other questions? Go ahead.
For the record, Chris Sewell, the Director of DETR. Have you had an opportunity to use our employee MB offices for your employment needs?
I don't. One second.
Brian.
Yes. Yes, sir.
Okay, very good, because we don't charge any money. We're there, and we're actually going to be having a new hub out in our Fernley area as well.
Very good.
So we're ready and willing and able to assist any hiring needs that you have.
Thank you, Mr. Sewell. Rod Diridon, Apple record. You've got the right people in the room to have heard that offer, and I'm sure that we'll take you up on it additionally. Thank you.
Great, thank you. Thank you, Governor.
Any further questions? If there are none, I'll entertain a motion for approval.
Sasha Stevenson, so moved.
Second, Havens?
Dr. Havens, was that you?
Yes. Yes,
Okay,
Governor.
we have a second. We have a motion. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any against, no? Hearing none, motion passes. Confirming, Stephanie, we had a quorum with Ms. King abstaining.
No.
Can you give me a response?
Sorry, Governor, were you asking if we had a quorum if Ms. King abstained?
Yes.
David Newton or Hina Razul, our open meeting laws, please, attorneys, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe it's the majority vote of the quorum that we have at the table.
He's coming on.
David, I saw you come to life.
David, keep trying. We're waiting on you.
Hina,
believe-
are you with us online?
I'm here.
Hi, Hina. We have the exact number of quorum for a board meeting, but we do have to have one board member abstain on a vote. Does that mean, is it the majority of the board members at the table or the quorum of that day that can carry the vote over?
Yeah, that's correct.
Appreciate it, Hina. Thank you so much.
All right. So the motion passes. Congratulations. Thank you. Thank you for
very much.
your confidence in us. All right, we will close 7B and move on to item number 7C, universal plastics mold, sales tax abatement, modified business tax abatement, and personal tax, property tax abatement. And Perry, will you be presenting?
Yes, sir. Yes, good afternoon, Governor Lombardo, Director Burns, members of the board. For the record, Perry Erstrom with the Las Vegas Global Economic Alliance, here today in show of support for the application submitted by Universal Plastic Mold Incorporated.
Hang on a second, Perry.
Sure.
All right, sorry, Perry, go ahead.
Okay, should I repeat myself or continue?
Yeah, just go ahead and continue from where you were.
Okay. Okay, as one of the largest injection molding companies in the United States, led by the second generation of this family-owned business, Universal Plastic Mold is exploring their options to relocate their operations and headquarters from Southern California to Southern Nevada. This opportunity would create approximately 100 new positions in the first 2 years, with capital investment projections totaling approximately $32 million, with approximately $14 million of that in capital equipment. Now, this company is an important addition to the manufacturing ecosystem for Southern Nevada, and I'm very excited today to present this company. This application was brought to the Las Vegas Global Economic Alliance through Amy Ogden with Logic Commercial Real Estate, and this application meets the requirements set forth by the governor's office and has the full support of the LVGEA. With me today from Universal Plastic Mold is Mr. Jason Dowling, president, who will provide further insight into the company and their relocation interests. Mr. Dowling.
Thank you. Hi, everybody. I would like to ask who put me up after Apple. I'm entering the talent show after like the superstar, so I'll do my best. My name is Jason Dowling. And Universal Plastic Mold. To start, I just want to thank Governor Lombardo, the whole GOED board, Perry, having me along with the LVGEA team.
Hey, Perry. Perry, can
Yes.
you move that mic closer to him? We're
Yeah.
having trouble hearing him.
I'll try to.
And can you reintroduce yourself, sir?
Absolutely. My name is Jason Dowling, president with Universal Plastic Mold. What I wanted to start with is just a little history so you can get some context behind why we're doing what we're doing and why we're looking to move to Nevada. Our company was founded in 1962 by my dad. He was a foster kid, grew up in the foster system in Vancouver, British Columbia. He was kicked out of his foster home at 16, joined the Canadian Railway, worked there, and ended up in Toronto where he met my mom, who was an immigrant from South America. He took a job with Thermospato there, which happened to be a plastic plant. And at 24, he managed to cut the tip of his thumb off. And with that $1,000 that he got from workers' comp, it funded his move or their move to Southern California. And being a Canadian, California was his ideal situation. At age 29, he bought a used injection molding machine for $500, put it into a garage and started UPM. And that was sort of how things started. It was truly his American dream. Fast forward 62 years and here we are now. My brother and I operate UPM and we're happy to say we're in our third generation. So we have 3 generations of being privately held and family owned. So that's the kind of the background on us.
Go ahead, sir.
No problem. So why, the reasons for looking at Nevada. So rather than focus on the well-documented problems of doing business in California, I thought I would talk a little bit about what Nevada is doing right. We looked into Nevada, Arizona, Utah, Mexico, did pretty deep dives as far as costs and the nature of doing business in these different areas. And by far, Nevada and the LVGEA team really shined. I mean, it's honestly a no-brainer. Our culture, or the culture here, I should say, there's excitement, there's hope. It feels like there's a future. It doesn't have that sort of dark cloud that I feel working and owning a company in Southern California. Everybody I talk to who lives here kind of tells me the exact same thing. I love it. Just be forewarned, July and August are going to be terrible. That's the same thing. I'm like, I can deal with that. Honestly, I can see my wife and I relocating here. There's a hockey team. I'm a big hockey fan. There's concerts, tons of restaurants. You have 2A rights, lots of golf courses. But I think more than anything else, there's a sense of community where people feel like they belong to the city. The city truly has that feeling to it, which is kind of special to me. From a cost standpoint, it's blatantly clear that the cost of doing business here is exciting. Electrical costs are 50% or better. Workers' comp, California is rife with fraud, tons of litigation that we're just always dealing with. The taxation, so between payroll, profit, property taxes, it's about 68% less. And then just the litigious nature of our state. It feels like you can't sneeze without having a lawyer call you. And you're constantly battling, with plaintiff attorneys. Because California is deputized plaintiff attorneys, they enforce labor law. And so how do they do that? They file class action lawsuits. So we actually have to budget in about $500,000 a year just in case the lawsuit occurs. So just it's a lot. So kind of talking about our future, how I vision things working. I'm a planner, so every year I do a 1, a 5, and a 10-year plan. I can see no matter how I draw it up in California, it just doesn't work. It's sad because we've been there a very long time and we truly care about our community and our workers. But if we're going to keep the legacy of my dad alive going forward, honestly, I don't see a way to do it where we are now. And so that's why we're here. When we look at why we do what we do, we drill down to the reasons that we exist or why we do what we do. It always comes down to the people that work for us, our community, and our stakeholders at the end of the day. So, when I look at the folks that work for us, employee growth, something that we're very proud of over the last 10 years, we've promoted from within. So we don't hire from the outside. We take folks that have the aptitude and the energy and the willingness to learn, and we educate them, train them up, teach them new positions, and we've really not gone out to industry to bring folks in. We put a ton of money into training, well beyond OSHA and just the basic standard trainings that need to be done. So I know I'm going over, so I'll try to shorten it. Employee support, again, we offer full insurance package, retirement, training, job development. We really want to see people that work for us be successful, and it's paid off. So our average tenure right now is 12 years. We've got a handful of folks that have been with us for over 40 years. And then as far as reaching out to the community, currently we work with El Camino College in LA, Cal Poly Pomona with their engineering department, doing plant tours, working with their engineering students, just kind of teaching them what manufacturing is all about, just to kind of get this younger generation introduced to what manufacturing jobs could potentially look like. it's not an attractive industry for college age kids. So teaching them kind of the stuff that we do and what's exciting about our industry and getting them involved early on, trying to teach them what's going on. Our plan is to continue that, and it is part of our culture, working with UNLV, University of Phoenix, College of Southern Nevada, and the Clark County School District. And then as far as supporting the local economy, our 2023 purchasing budget was a smidge over 8 million. We prefer to source locally, so if we can find suppliers in town that can, give us quick lead times and comparable costs, which I'm assuming they'll be able to do, we can bring a lot of our buying power here to the local area. So to wrap it up, my 5 and 10 year plans do include Nevada. I feel like it's a must do. In the end, the savings that we realize allows us to pay our employees better, and it allows us to invest back into the company. So our goal isn't to dividend out, it's really to put money back into capital, more equipment, better automation, better safety equipment, education. That's where we like to put our money. And then just continue to develop strong relationships in the community and keep reaching out. So I want to thank everybody. I appreciate it. It's really an honor to be here, and thank you for your time.
Thank you. Any board members have any questions?
Havens.
Go ahead, Doc.
First of all, yes, Mr. Dowling, I commend you on an excellent presentation of your company.
Thank you.
You did mention Arizona and Utah.
Correct.
And it says you have plans to relocate. Where do you stand with Utah and Arizona?
So Utah is a definite no. Arizona is still a maybe, but here's what I found. Cost-wise, comparative. Land, power, insurance, everything else is, I'd say, apples to apples. The difference with Nevada and kind of how Nevada stands out, the support. So with Perry and his team, it's been amazing. I mean, any question I ask, I get an answer within a couple hours. And then it goes back to that sense of community. You feel like if we're going to move here and we're going to live here and we're going to have our employees come here and we're going to, have this workforce, the hugest difference for me is just that kind of feeling like you belong to something, and you get that here. I did not get that feeling in Arizona whatsoever.
And what's your timetable?
So we are actively looking for buildings or land to develop. So as soon as we can lock down a building, we're going to start the process.
Thank you.
Yep, thank you.
Governor Sasha Stevenson, if I may.
Yes, go ahead.
Thanks. Well, thanks for including the conversation, the narrative about your employee retention and internal growth, because that was going to be one of my questions based on the compensation package data. But I guess I have a question. Do we have any data on your water usage? And I guess I would ask LVGEA, do you consider this company a good user of water and a good addition to the state, given our circumstances?
Sure. So for the record, Perry Urson, we've had that conversation with the company respective of water. I don't know if you want to comment on the.
Yeah, so I didn't know, to be honest. It's one of those bills I don't take that much time to pay attention to. So I pulled the information, did the math. We average about 40,000 gallons a year. That's primarily used in tower systems to cool water, and that's evaporation. Our plant water will be either a glycol-based closed loop system or a freshwater system that's recirculating through the plant for cooling machines and molds and things like that.
Okay, thank you.
Governor, this is Yolanda. Of the 98 new, it says job creation 98. And I believe in one of the letters it mentioned new employees. But what percentage of the 98 would relocate to?
It's a great question. Yeah, so I've talked to the folks that I consider key players, people that have got years and years of experience and just know how we operate. And starting up a new plant, I believe it's vital to have those people. It's funny, the conversations that I've had, it's sensitive because you're talking about possibly moving somebody. And so to answer your question directly, it's about 15 of those folks that I consider key player. Their answers to me were just tell me when and how soon. The examples say it's like I'm in a 2-bedroom apartment paying $3,000 a month, several $100s a week in gas to get my self to work, and I'm putting my kids in private school because the public schools are in such bad disarray in our area. So there are a lot of folks that are eager to jump on. There's about 15 or so that I consider key players that I would want to come along. I don't know if all of them will be able to do it, but that's the number out of that 98.
Okay. And then if you had mentioned investing, because you're saving money, you would be saving money coming to Nevada, like how I said, coming to Nevada.
Yep.
Because you would be saving a substantial amount of money. Is the average wage that's listed in your application, is that higher than what it currently is in California?
It is to some extent, yeah, because to be honest, making a nickel in California is difficult. We're scraping for every penny we can make. And so we're sort of limited, So what we do and sort of our mode of doing things is we go throughout the year and we bonus out. So if we're having a good year, we're going to do a lot of money in bonuses. If we're having a crummy year, that number will be smaller. We haven't.
All levels?
Correct. Oh, yeah, top to bottom.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Thank you.
Mhm.
That's all I
Mr.
have.
Allen, for the record, Governor Lamar, are you aware of the income tax rate in Arizona and California?
I've heard rumors. I don't know. But yes, I have.
I'm sure Perry can inform you our income tax rate here in the state of Nevada, so.
A little more favorable.
Absolutely.
All right, are there any further questions, Mr. Allen? Chris?
No.
No, this Chris.
I'm gonna give my department another sheet log, but sir, another incentive for you. Sounds like you have a great, a lot of your employees are really committed to your business and things of that nature, which is wonderful. And I think that that type of an employee brings better things to a community, and I think you're gonna find the communities in Vegas, the community of Vegas and Anderson, and all the small towns around there are definitely great. Matter of fact, I met my wife in Las Vegas, brought her back up. But now I'm gonna give a plug that can also help your company. Again, we deal with finding employees for employers through our employee and B hubs. We have business hubs and we have employer and employee hubs. And we are more than happy to help you with doing hiring events, things of that nature. And, OSHA 10 cards, if you have specific training, we can also help put that together. Working with the local colleges and also the Clark County School District. So please reach out to our employee NB offices and we'll help you out there. And that's another plug for the state of Nevada.
Absolutely. No, I appreciate that.
Governor, I do have a question. This is Chris, for the record.
Go ahead.
Your shipping costs out of Nevada versus out of California. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, it's comparable. So we service our niche, and kind of what we're known for is larger parts. And so freight is expensive per part. And so the region that we typically ship to is going to be Nevada, Arizona, California, Northern California, even up into Oregon and Washington. What we've found is freight coming out of Los Angeles to pretty much anywhere is at a premium. There's a lot of outbound, right? Because there's so much coming into the ports of Long Beach and LA that and you've got regulations on what type of trucks can actually operate in the state. So there's fewer trucks, tons of cargo, high prices. What we've actually found is it's less expensive on the haul back. Basically, you're bringing back a lot of empty trailers are coming back into those areas. And so it's actually in most cases, I've looked at all of our key accounts and what that would look like. With the exception of one, it's less expensive.
Thank you.
All right, if we don't have any further questions, I'll entertain a motion for approval.
Jay Barrett, Governor, with a motion for approval.
Yolanda will second it.
All right, we have a motion. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any against? No. Hearing none, motion passes. Congratulations, sir.
Thank you.
Hopefully we'll be welcoming you to Nevada.
Absolutely. Thank you. Appreciate it.
All right, we'll move on to agenda item number 7D, Weber Metals Incorporated, Aviation Sales Tax Abatement, and Aviation Personal Property Tax Abatement. Ms. McCormick.
Good afternoon, Governor, Executive Director, and board members. For the record, I'm Nancy McCormick, Senior Vice President of Strategic Partnerships and Workforce for EDON. I'm here today representing Weber Metals, an innovative industrial forging company which acquired their first Nevada location in our region in December of 2022. They're now looking to make an additional investment in order to expand capabilities at their Verdi, Washoe County facility. Weber is looking to expand their operations to better leverage their expertise in order to meet the evolving demands of the aerospace industry. In addition to their original $10 million investment, they are planning to invest $1.79 million in a new forging press and other equipment, and plan to add 8 new jobs at an average wage of $29.38 per hour. Weber is requesting assistance from the state via the Aviation Sales and Use Tax Abatement and the Aviation Personal Property Tax Abatement, and they qualify for 3 out of the statutory requirements. Over the term of the agreement, the estimated new tax revenue generated after abatements would exceed $3.7 million. In the short time they have been operating in our area, they have supported Nevada efforts to pursue federal funding from the CHIPS Act for the state. EDON supports this application and is grateful for the company's desire to continue to build their operations in Nevada. With us today in Carson City is Senior VP Strategy and Site Development, Armin Ekmekji, and we also have other members of their team, Paul Dennis, the CFO, and Jerry Bullard, the controller, available if there are any questions that you need answered. With that, I'd like to go ahead and turn it over to Mr. Ekmekji.
Did she say it right?
She did.
Welcome.
Thank you. For the record, my name is Armin Ekmekji with Weber Metals. I'm very happy to be here. Thank you for inviting us. We had an opportunity to look at a Ford shop that was in hibernation mode. The previous owner had no longer wanted to invest, and they ended up shutting their doors. We saw it as a great opportunity, especially to start moving out of California. Although we have some discussions about what long-term plans may be, certainly the gentleman that just previously spoke, we can sympathize with all of his similar concerns. So we're very happy to be here, and in the short time that we've been here, the way that we've been embraced really makes us feel at home here in Nevada. Couple things from a aviation supply chain perspective, so you know more about Weber. We take raw materials, alloyed metals, and we convert them into components that are used on aircraft. Here in Reno or in Verdi, we're going to focus on aircraft wheel and brake, jet engine components, and rocket components. The employees that we have hired, many of them were former employees of the facility. We've rehired 4 people, and our goal is to continue to rehire as those individuals call back people that used to work there. And now that we've been reminded of Employ Nevada or Employ NV, certainly have another avenue to find potential candidates. I'm here to answer any questions you might have. Sure.
Is that it, sir?
Yes.
Do we have any questions by any board members?
Governor, this is Sasha Stevenson. I just have the same question about water use.
Yeah, so we're part of a consortium, Verdi Mutual Water Company. They have their own spring, and they supply the neighborhood around Verdi where we operate. Looking at what the previous operator was using, and now that we have about 6 quarters of usage, we believe our water consumption will be about 1 million gallons a year.
Any other questions? Did that answer your question, Sasha?
I guess I would just ask EDON if they would concur that this is a responsible steward of water.
I'm sorry, repeat that.
Sorry, just a question, Sasha Stevenson for the record, just a question to Nancy on whether EDON would agree that this is a responsible use of water in the state.
Yes, For the record, Nancy McCormick, we would agree that based on the size of their operation and their efforts to make sure that they are conserving water, that it is a good investment for the state now and in the future.
Thank you.
On the application, Nancy, I don't know if you or Armin expressed that. It says that your application is pending, your business license. Why would it designate that?
Nancy McCormick, for the record, there was a bit of a glitch with regards to the payment for the renewal of the state business license. That has since changed in the process of the last few weeks. It has been taken care of and it now should be showing as current. Yes.
Thank you. All right, if there are no further questions or concerns, I'll entertain a motion for approval for Weber Metals.
Governor Weldon Havens moved to approve the proposed sales tax abatement, personal property tax abatement for Weber Metals, Inc.
We have a second.
Sasha Stevenson, second.
All right, we have a motion for approval. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any against? No. Hearing none, motion passes. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you. All right, moving on. Okay, we'll now close agenda item number 7, move to agenda item number 8, abatement applications for executive director approval. Director Burns.
Governor, previous to this meeting, we approved the abatement for Mako Advanced Manufacturing. Is through our aviation abatement. It's I apologize. Is there
Mitch?
Well, Mitch, yeah, good. I was going to attempt to pronounce this gentleman's name and it wasn't going to be pretty. So Mitch, you handle it.
Okay, good afternoon, everybody. Good afternoon, board. Governor Lombardo, Executive Director Burns, thank you for having us today. For the record, I'm Mitch Keenan with the Las Vegas Global Economic Alliance. I'd like to introduce today with me Mako Advanced Materials, along with their CEO, Dr. John Lincoln. Mako is requesting the sales and use tax abatement and the personal property tax abatement within the aviation abatement package. Mako will have a capital equipment investment of eclipsing $367,000. They will also create 10 jobs in their first 24 months of operation at an average wage of $32.46. Mako meets and exceeds the statutory requirements to qualify for the aviation abatement and incentive program. I also want to thank and recognize the City of Henderson's economic development team for their collaborative and supportive partnership throughout this whole process. And also important to note, Mako is a new startup that specifically chose Henderson to set up operations in 2023 and has already made major strides in building relationships across the community with partners like GOED, City of Henderson Economic Development, LVGEA, UNLV Engineering, as well as UNLV's Step Up Startup Internship Program. Furthermore, Johnny has an extensive entrepreneurial background with leading his former company, Axiom Materials, which was a global leader in advanced composite development and manufacturing, with partnerships across a myriad of industries, including aerospace, military, automotive, industrial, and medical industries. As well, Johnny has launched his Lincoln Dynamic, along with his Lincoln Dynamic Foundation here in Henderson. I will let him dive further into his portfolio of businesses, Mako's future goals, and answer any questions by the board here today. I'm pleased to turn it over to Mr. Johnny.
Thank you, Governor. Thank you, Board. Dr. John Lincoln. I found my way here via Jerry Blarty and Tom Burns in the economic development. The team has been fantastic. The program has been fantastic. The support has been fantastic. Proudly born here at Sunrise Hospital in '79. Grew up in California, educated there. Did a startup, Axiom Materials, in 2009. Sold it 2019 to a public company. And all the brain damage that went with running a chemical and materials company in Southern California. So I moved here just before I sold it to enjoy the taxes, and I had an aging father who lived here still. When I moved, I started a business to kind of do investment portfolios, invested in a lot of property in a lot of businesses in Nevada and outside of Nevada. I sit on 6 boards for aerospace and advanced materials companies. And my no-compete has just expired. I'm ready to run back my former glory. I had it up to about 150,000 square feet, about 200 people. that's not Tesla Motors, it's not Apple Computer, but it was pretty big. And we were certainly one of the big mid-market players. And pretty much every airplane you've flown on, we had materials on. Pretty much every hockey stick that is in the NHL or played down here in by the Golden Knights had my materials on it. We weighed 8,500. The cars on the cars. Right, we're all kind of all over the world, but our big space is aviation. And aviation, we do things like VTOL, we do things like rocket parts, we do things like adhesives that bond all these things together. So a big part of what we do is advanced composite products, which are primarily carbon composite products, which you've probably seen in some advanced sporting goods and in other areas. So my name is John Lincoln again, and please take any questions you might have about the business or about what's been going on. But again, I'm very pleased with everything I've seen here so far. I'm very excited to start this business here.
All right, thank you, Dr. Lincoln. Any questions by any of the board members? Director Burns?
Again, this is prior to the meeting, so welcome to Nevada. Thank you for your investment, confidence in our state.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you,
sir.
Thank you, board.
Thank you. All right, we will close item 8. I'm sorry. Okay. Playing shares.
I'm just moving to the win team.
All right, we'll move to agenda item 9 for possible action, workforce innovation for a new Nevada Win Fund programs for board approval. We'll kick it off with 9A, request for approval to enter into an agreement with the College of Southern Nevada for a logistics and operations training program. Ms. Silverstone.
Thank you. Elaine Silverstone, Director of Workforce Development here at GOED for the record. Good afternoon, Governor Lombardo, Executive Director Burns, and esteemed members of the GOED board. It's my pleasure to be here today to represent the impactful work we at GOED get to do together with our NG partners in pursuit of economic diversification and workforce development for our state. Today, I will be introducing 3 programs applying for a Workforce Innovations for a New Nevada Award to help support workforce development training efforts with employer partners' commitment to hiring for jobs at high wage thresholds in target sectors of our state plan. I'm joined today by Dr. Natalie Brown, Assistant Vice Chancellor of Workforce Development, who I share the celebration of success of great work that has already been accomplished through this fund at NC institutions. It's fun work, and we really enjoy doing it together. Thank you, Dr. Brown. Here today, too, and we'll start with CSN, is Dr. James McCoy, who's joined us in the back, VP of Academic Affairs, Dr. Frank Woodbeck, Executive Director of Advanced Special Projects. Did I? Oh,
Yeah.
that's all right.
That's okay, I'll take it.
I learned so much from you that I have a PhD in Frank Woodbeck, so thank you for that. And Dr. Clarissa Coda, Campus Vice President from North Las Vegas, as well as Executive Director of Advanced Manufacturing, Dan Flick. I lost my place. Okay, Dr. Woodbeck couldn't be with us at the last GOED board meeting for a competing priority at an NG meeting that ran long, but I am confident you will find his presence here today compelling as we represent the Logistics and Operations Training Initiative. Thank you for the opportunity to do so. Dr. Woodbeck has prepared responses to your earlier questions regarding this program that he'll highlight and can be found in section 9A of your meeting materials. College of Southern Nevada requests $376,000, $376,400. Let me just do that one more time. $376,004 for this logistics and operations training initiative that will provide short-term training for logistics automation and integration technicians at both the CSN North Las Vegas campus and the upcoming Westside Education and Training Center set to open in early June 2025. Funding for this program will reach as many as 30 students per year and will provide instructional capacity for complete logistics labs, administrative and promotional support. There are 100 jobs committed to in these letters and more in the sector, of course, in this area available at Finley Automotive Group and Sunshine Minting, and with endorsement from the Regional Transportation Commission of Southern Nevada. And now, some words from Dr. Brown and then Dr. Whitford.
Thank you, Elaine. Good afternoon, Governor Lombardo, esteemed members of the GOED board, Dr. Natalie Brown, Assistant Vice Chancellor for Workforce Development and Community Colleges with the Nevada System of Higher Education, for the record. I'm excited to be joining you again today in support of the WIN Fund applications for both CSN and GBC. The WIN Fund has assisted NC institutions in creating and customizing programs in high need target industries, and the programs you will hear today are no different. These include 2 programs from CSN, a follow-up presentation for logistics and operations training, a nursing skills lab to increase CNA and LPN completers, and 1 program from GBC, the GBC NORCAT Mind Skills Training, to not only train essential skills and knowledge, but also continue into corporate training and be able to adjust to meet future training needs. Together, these programs request a total of approximately $1.7 million in funding. And she is grateful for your ongoing support and investment in these workforce programs, as well as the strong collaboration between NSHE and GOED. We appreciate the time to discuss these programs in more detail and your consideration of these proposals. And at this point, I hand the floor over to our CSN Executive Director, Frank Woodbeck, to provide more details on the logistics and operations training program, followed by CSN nursing.
Thank you, Dr. Brown. Governor, distinguished members of the board. I'm saying 2 programs to you today. One is the Logistics and Operations Training Lab request that we have for funding. That is for training in a new industry arena, new industry sector, logistics and operations. And this is for training logistics, automation, and integration technicians. That is a subset of advanced manufacturing. And we do not have that capability currently in Nevada, certainly not in Southern Nevada. And I'll ask you to remember 2 words for both of these presentations, actually. Graded funding. Okay, I'll just plant that seed for just a moment. Last year, we received a grant from the Department of Labor, a Pathways to Infrastructure Jobs grant, for the training of actually 2 phases. One, zero emission vehicle mechanics, and we're doing that in combination with Regional Transportation Commission. And the second phase is instructions in logistics, automation, and integration. And that is this phase coming up. That is a $2 million grant that we received for that training. Those grants from DOL do not include equipment. So we're coming to the WIN Fund for $376,000, $376,004. If you give me the $376, I'll put it in. But for training labs. And what we will do is place those, we have an existing training lab in our City of Henderson Advanced Manufacturing Center of Excellence. We'll put 2 in North Las Vegas, at our North Las Vegas campus, which is overseen by our VP, Chris Dakota. And we will put 2 additional ones at the upcoming West Side Education and Training Center. The purpose being that in 3 different areas of what I call our greatest asset in Nevada is human capital, we can train individuals, either cross-train them in careers or advance them in careers that are incumbent workers in advanced manufacturing in logistics and operations at this point. And that's the purpose of this particular grant. When I say braided funding, the braided funding goes back to what I mentioned about the DOL Pathways grant that we received. That other piece of it is for the logistics and operations training. The jobs in logistics and operations has grown to approximately 25,800 thus far in Southern Nevada. That is post-pandemic. The post-pandemic growth in that category is the 9,800 jobs just post-pandemic. So there's definitely a need for this training. Our executive director for advanced manufacturing sitting behind me, Director Flynn. He oversees that advanced manufacturing program from actually entry-level jobs all the way up through an associate's degree. So he has all those phases that he can cover in advanced manufacturing and logistics. And I'd be more than happy to answer any questions you might have.
Any questions?
Governor Sasha Stevenson, hi,
Please.
thank you for that. Just to confirm what I think I heard you say, so this $370,000 would be for the equipment to create the labs?
$376,000.
Important, sorry. That we're taking care of. And just because the Secretary of State's not here, I just want to re-ask his question that he had some concerns last time about the staffing for these labs and whether or not that was going to take away staff hours from other programs. And his concern specifically was that there are already waiting times for students to get into this existing program. So if this is just for the equipment, does that solve for that concern or?
Well, actually, this does not cover staffing, by the way, first of all. Staffing will be under our normal funding through weighted student credit hours. But it will not be affecting staffing in any other area. I had a conversation with, I heard about that problem, by the way, that question. I had a conversation with the Secretary of State regarding that specifically, responded to those questions, and he is satisfied that we're not taking away from another department and training in that. Actually, what Director Flick is doing is recruiting from industry and from wherever he might be able to in terms of advanced manufacturing training or to be able to provide that training. We do have a special allocation for paying above market, if you will, for those instructors as needed.
Great. Sasha Stevenson for the record. I just want to make sure we got that on the record since there were concerns.
No, I appreciate that. Thank you very much.
Thank you for that.
Great question.
And Governor, this is Yolanda King. Also, I think for the record, there were some concerns about the hourly wage. And so you have concerned that this program is a subset of the advanced manufacturing, hence
Correct.
the lower wages. That would be.
Those are entry level wages that are really, I don't want to say they're statutory, they're within the Bureau of Labor Statistics listing, if you will, of wages. Generally, there are two segments of the population. One, incumbent workers who are already working and needed an upgrade, if you will, in logistics. They would generally be somewhere in the $29 to $35 an hour range, and it can go up from there. Now, I will mention to you that, and I should have explained this, I apologize. At the Center of Excellence in Henderson, that unit is geared for incumbent worker training, essentially. The installation at the North Las Vegas campus is twofold. One, for entry-level training, but also for training incumbent workers that are for companies that are selling to Apex, for example, to provide that in the northern portion of the valley. As far as the West Side Education and Training Center is concerned, I should tell you that that West Side Education and Training Center broke ground on May 28th. It is a 16,000 square foot skilled training center that's located on the historic west side of Las Vegas. It is serving an underserved area of, as far as an education desert, we'll call it. So that, and it's geared for entry-level training, basic education and entry-level training. What we're trying to do is to serve, which I think is a moral obligation, to serve all the populations in Southern Nevada, whether they are going through normal matriculation and through the Clark County school system, or if they're unemployed or underemployed, whatever. We will be able to train anyone in any walk of life into an entry-level job, for example, in logistics, in operations or advanced manufacturing. That's what that training center is going to be. And we'll be able to continue from there. They'll be able to continue from there once they've entered their next career, if you will.
This is Chris, just a couple of comments. That last part, Frank, I really appreciate you bringing that up because it's something I know we've talked about for a long time, getting those services where they need to be. The other thing I wanted to point out is that for many years now, we've seen the growth of logistics and manufacturing in terms of our abatements, which we went over today as well. That's been a consistent trend for years. And it's nice to see the WIN programming coming in behind to robust and match where we're seeing the interest in our communities from external companies coming in. So that alignment is something we don't always see, but it is very, very helpful, I think, as we're working to attract additional companies to the state, that we have these programs that we can help, stand up the training and meet that demand.
Yes. And one additional note that the grant I was talking about, the Pathways to Infrastructure Drive. Our other partner on that grant is Workforce Connections. So what we're trying to do is also have the placement opportunity there too. Thank you.
Larry, any other comments?
Until we advance to the next application, I defer to you and the room here.
All right, I'll entertain a motion for approval for 9A.
Josh Stevenson, so moved.
Jay Barrett with the second.
All right, we have a motion for approval. All those in favor for, hold on a second. Yep, we didn't come. Okay, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any against, no? Motion is approved. All right, sorry for the delay there. I was reading some of my notes. Elaine, we'll just move right into item 9B, since you're at the dais, Sue.
Excellent. Elaine Silverstone, Director of Workforce Development, for the record. I'm delighted to present another well-designed workforce training program to be led at the College of Southern Nevada that will help address an area of critical need in our state and align with a target sector added to our state plan, that of healthcare. You'll hear today from Dr. Frank Woodbeck, Executive Director, and I'm going to call you Frank Woodbeck, and Dr. Coda, if she chooses to contribute, about the plans to expand a nursing training center at the North Las Vegas campus that will allow for training to reach an additional 24 nursing students per cohort for certified nursing assistants and licensed practical nursing programs. CSN is requesting $485,000 to complement $750,000 already secured through congressionally directed spending. That represents a total of $1.235 million for this critical expansion program, the results of which will be felt far and wide in our community. Dignity Health, North Vista Hospital, the Department of Veterans Affairs Southern Nevada Healthcare System, and Henderson Hospital state their endorsement of this program in this WIN application, citing at least 44 immediate hiring needs among them. These high-wage jobs in healthcare will help support a strong pipeline of medical professionals to support local and visiting patients to our state. Dr. Brown and our CSN team will add their contributions in support of this program if you wanted to revisit. Thank you.
Dr. Natalie Brown, for the record. I just want to say thank you so much for the opportunity to present this program. It is an area that I've been in discussions with CSN for quite some time. You have the proposal in your packet, but I will allow our CSN colleagues to expand upon it.
Okay, thank you. For the record, Frank Woodbeck, Executive Director of Grants and Special Projects. We are all aware of the nursing shortage in Southern Nevada and throughout the country, quite frankly. And here, we're trying to actually expand or enhance facilities to be able to meet the need in terms of launching a practical nursing program, increasing the number of practical nurses that we can produce by 24 per year with this particular move, and also expand simulation facilities at our North Las Vegas campus, and also we're doing it in Henderson. And that is to take advantage of the way the rules are now regarding nursing training, where we can use enhanced and more simulation in their training. This will also provide for the North Las Vegas campus to round out their offerings from a curriculum standpoint in nursing. And I'll allow to expand on that if you would.
Sure. Yeah, so good afternoon, Governor and board members. It's my pleasure to present to you. My name is Clarissa Coda. I'm Vice President of the North Las Vegas campus for the College of Southern Nevada. And it's really my pleasure today to really talk to you more about where we're placing this crucial training need. So this particular expansion need project is really meeting a critical need that we have in our state and our region for more highly trained nurses. You already are well aware of the high need for over 3,000 licensed practical nurses, over 4,000 RNs, over close to 6,000 certified nursing assistants to reach the national average in the state of Nevada. So the proposal before you really is directly providing a solution to help produce more trained nurses to fill these critical nursing jobs. So we are requesting, this investment of $485,000 to complete a $1,235,000 construction project to construct the nursing skills lab. And as was stated, we are already blending this funding with already supported congressionally spending directed funds that has come our way. This braided funding is going to allow us to provide this critical training. And right now, CSN is training approximately 1/3 of the local nursing force in our region. This project would allow for the very first time to have a completable nursing program at the North Las Vegas campus. Our West Charleston and Henderson campuses are effectively delivering our nursing programs, and it's been a long awaited vision to be able to have this type of training in a very critical area of our valley that has some of the most underserved zip codes in our state. And so this is a very unique opportunity to fill a need that we have. As mentioned, we have employer partners that are behind us, and it is also aligning to the City of North Las Vegas Medical District Master Plan, which we have been aligning with to be able to provide the needed trained nurses for that project. We also have the support, as mentioned, from the VA Southern Nevada Health System, Dignity Health, North Vista Hospital, and Henderson Hospital. So with this funding, CSN will be able to provide and enhance its capacity to have 24 additional nurses coming out of this program per year and per cohort. It will also help to support the capacity for the other programs we offer at the other campuses, such as our CNA, our LPN, ADN, RNs, and also our BSN programs to enhance that capacity. So at this time, I really do thank you for your consideration of our request of $485,000 to support the nursing skills expansion project, which is also leveraging our existing federal funds. Thank you.
All right, do we have any questions?
Governor Weldon Havens.
Dr. Well,
Yes, it's a little bit. I'm going to vote for this, but you talk about the need of 6,000 nurses, and you're going to produce 24 a year with this funds. It seems like it's, I just have high school math, but it seems like it's going to take a lot of years to, at 24 increase to get to 6,000. What else are we doing to try to address that 6,000?
This is in addition to clarify, and thank you for the question. CSN right now is producing about 100 to 150 students that are going through our certified nursing programs from the other campuses. So as we're starting to build our capacity, we need to start with one cohort of 24 students. As we start to build one cohort, you can have one behind it coming up. And so as it starts to grow with the student weighted credit hours that we're going to be receiving, right now we already have the funds to support the faculty to support the cohorts, but as it grows, we can also kind of grow our capacity.
Okay, so this is the initial startup funds for a program that will expand well beyond 24.
And if
I might add that we are expanding our simulation lab at our Henderson Health and Sciences building also. With a $2.3 million congressional directed spending appropriation that will be underway shortly. Well, where's the that'll be underway shortly. So I mean, as Dr. Cota says, there are many different ways in which this is happening, and along with our partners, also UNLV and Nevada State, we're all trying to increase that.
Great, thank you.
And if I may,
Thank you.
we are Natalie Brown for the record. We are very aware of the nursing shortage within, and what we can do to help support within the Nevada system of higher education. So this is, like they mentioned, one additional spoke in that wheel. And that all of our NSHE institutions are actively working on expanding their nursing programs through, not just programs such as this, but also through Senate bill funding. So it is something that we are looking at different prongs throughout the entire state.
Sasha Stevenson, for the record, just have a quick question. It's not really specifically related to this, but what is the average hours or semesters that are in this program? And then are there incentives from the partners that you have in the community to get those trained nurses to stay here?
Yeah.
There you go.
So definitely the partnership with the local health providers is crucial because for one, as we are putting out more students going through these cohorts, they're in need of clinicals. And so it's essential. And so we have the commitment on behalf of these partners to allow for spaces for our students to get in. The simulation lab helps to combine both the in-person clinical hours that are required in addition to simulation time. So that's enhancing the capacity. To your question about the employer, the ability to connect with our employer partners, I believe that was the question.
I'm curious about incentives to keep those that we train here, keep them here to serve the community since we do have this gap.
So by the letters of support, you will see that they're offering very competitive hourly rates for those types of positions, as well as if they can complete those clinicals at those sites, that's also a very big incentive to keep them here.
Thank you.
This is Joanne. I have a question probably about how the program is working and specific to the hourly wages that are listed in the packet. So you mentioned that this is a pre-licensure program, pre-licensure nursing program. And then it lists the different types of nurses that you, or types of nurses that you would train. But when I look at the information regarding the average hourly wage for hires, it's kind of all over the place. And so I just want to maybe just confirm that the hourly wage, are we comparing apples to apples? Because my understanding is that this pre-licensure program is a program that can possibly feed into these other higher level of nursing types. And so you just have some of the employees are at $43 an hour, some are at $23 an hour. And so what I'm trying to understand is, are those LPNs or with bachelors? I don't understand how this program works, but you know, with associate degrees or bachelor's degrees, or like what does this pre-licensure program?
Yes. Okay. So what we are doing with the nursing ARC, and of course I have my colleague here, Vice President for Academic Affairs, we need to get, you know, if I don't address your question, we have definitely more support to answer it fully. But the nursing ARC for stackable credentials is what we're also trying to. So if someone comes to us and they're at this entry level, they're going to be taking our certified nursing assistant program. That is a short-term 12-week program of study that also is going to be utilizing some of the nursing skills lab time. But really it is meant to be a short-term entry-level position. All of that rolls into, all of those credits earned, all of that training earned rolls into then the licensed practical nursing program. What is significant about this project is that this is the first time that the licensed practical nursing program can be delivered in its entirety at this campus. So without this lab, we have not been able to produce as an outcome licensed practical nurses.
Okay.
At that point. So it is stackable. So when you're seeing the information presented, you have to think that it is, we're meeting students where they are. And so some might enter as a certified nursing assistant. They're going to break into the field. They can now then apply and continue their progression for the LPN. They can then continue their progression to even higher wages as they go into their RN and BSN certifications.
Okay. All right. So that explains the range.
Yes, that's the range.
Okay. Thank you.
Governor, I apologize, Sasha Stevens. I have one more comment. Sure. I just think, I think for this body, it would be really informative for us to have, and I may no longer be on this board when the time comes, but to have some kind of data moving forward to justify ongoing funding for this. If you can show, you know, in 5 years time, 10 years time, how many nurses have we trained? How many have we kept here? How many have gone back and you know, garnered those additional credentials, et cetera. I just think it would be, if you have the ability to track it from the onset, to be able to bring back at some point to show toward that investment really helped to solve the problem.
Yes.
That's an excellent idea.
Thank you.
So can we make sure that request by Ms. Stevenson is in the minutes? So we can have some kind of record because some of the board members may change when they have enough data. Ensure that it comes back to the table.
Melanie Sheldon for the record, yes, we can.
Okay. And then by the nature of the questions presented by Ms. Stevenson and Ms. King, are you two looking to be nurses? Is that what's going on?
No, I'll pass out at the side of the blood. Yeah, I'm sure it would be a great.
I'm in a similar mood.
All right, if there are no further questions, I'll entertain a motion for approval.
Havens moves to approve.
Yolanda, I'll second it.
All right, we have a second, we have a motion. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any against, no? Hearing none, motion passes. Congratulations. Thank you for your effort, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
And we will move on to agenda item 9C, request for approval to enter into an agreement with the Great Basin College for a NORCAT Mine Skills Training Program. Ms. Silverstone.
Thank you. Elaine Silverstone here from GOED for the record. Our third and final WIN application for your consideration today is another industry-led workforce training program, this time in partnership with Great Basin College. So I'm pointing to my colleagues across the wire. Perhaps there is no greater example of the power of our collective efforts as an economic development agency that shines as this one does. Executive Director of the Northeastern Nevada Regional Development Authority, Sheldon Mudd, met Jason Buba of NORCAT at PDAC in June of 2023. A few months later in fall, their conversations extended to introductions at the GOED trade mission to Canada. And since the trade mission, NNRDA and GOED have collaborated to connect NORCAT with Great Basin College as the educational institution to bring a mining skills training program to the region. GBC President Amber Dinelli and Nicole Mayer, my champion in everything that happens well at GBC, are with us today to talk more about this innovative skills safety program. There she is, in which they are applying for $832,230 as part of a larger $1,322,230 project budget. With this financial investment, GBC will be able to train 90 students in entry-level minor curriculum beginning in December of this year. Lithium Americas, Sawtooth Mining, and Nevada Gold Mines have at least 1,000 jobs to fill among them beginning now and over the next 5 years at high wages for this critical industry sector between $26 and $44 hourly along the career pathway. You will find in section 9C, pages 22 to 23, if you got lucky numbered pages binders, letters of support too from Revere Mining Associations, Nevada Mining Association, and Nevada Battery Coalition, pledging their support for this proposed joint venture between NORCAT and GBC to support workforce development. Before you hear from President Dinelli and Nicole, I'd like to acknowledge my NSHE partner, Dr. Brown, to share her experience of this program to date.
Thank you so much, Elaine. Dr. Natalie Brown, for the record. Great Basin College has worked very closely with both myself and Elaine in workforce development at GOED to thoughtfully think through and present a program for you today that not only supports and establishes much needed training in mining skills, but also a program that can really grow and is sustainable in the future. You will see in the proposal, many jobs would be supported throughout this program. And as Elaine mentioned, as early as June 2025, over 90 students, or at least 90 students, would be assisted bridging the gap between local talent availability and project needs. I now hand the time over to Great Basin College President, Dr. Amber Dinelli and Nicole.
Oh, Nicole's muted.
Oh, Nicole, you're muted.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Beautiful.
Perfect. It's a pleasure to be here with you. Thank you for that great introduction. Governor Lombardo, Director Burns, and members of the GOED board. For the record, my name is Nicole Maher, and I am the Grants Director for Great Basin College. Thank you for this opportunity to share the GBC NORCAT vision for this new educational industrial training model in Nevada. We haven't seen anything like it in our college, and we're excited for what the future will look like. Dr. Amber Dinelli, president of Great Basin College, will now share a brief overview about the GBC NORCAT Mind Skills Training Initiative. Jason Buba, chief operating officer for NORCAT, is also present. Dr. Dinelli, are you able to get on?
Yep. For the record, Dr. Amber Dinelli, president of Great Basin College. Good afternoon, Governor Lombardo and the GOED board members. As promised, Governor Lombardo, the last time I saw you in Elko, I did say that as the new president of Great Basin College, I would be asking the state for support to help grow our workforce in rural Nevada. I officially started July 1, so as you can see, we are wasting no time to be innovative in this approach to building our workforce, and I appreciate the opportunity to present to you all today. The GBC NORCAT Mind Skills Training will allow GBC, one of Nevada's principal career and technical education providers, and NORCAT, a notable leader in mining industry training, to develop and enhance the workforce capabilities in our region. Through this workforce-focused partnership, GBC will build new and expand on current post-secondary training opportunities with subject matter experts from NORCAT with their 30-year history of developing and expanding training programs and really growing what we can do within our area. GBC's NORCAT's mining skills training has twofold purpose with workforce recruitment. One, we want to connect job seekers with customized education and training that will lead to high skill, high wage, and high in-demand jobs. And two, to connect employers with customized, sustainable tools and solutions that will help them recruit new talent and upskill existing employees. GBC NORCAT will focus on operation-specific learning pathways tailored to the local context through pre- and post-employment training. This emphasis on immediate job readiness will bridge the gap between project needs and local talent availability and help industry realize production targets in their most efficient, compliant, and safe manner possible. I'd like to share an example with you all today of how this might work. GBC NORCAT's mining skills training is working with a new to the region mine and process operation that is in phase 1 construction. The phase 2 operation is slated to launch in 2026. Some potential employees will graduate through Great Basin College's existing training programs that include electrical systems technology, welding technology, and industrial systems technology, while other workers will be hired by the company and its affiliates and then train into those customized programs by GBC NORCAT that will allow immediate job readiness. In this way, GBC and NORCAT will blend existing credentialing opportunities with industry-specific education and training that will help other companies better reach production goals, which if you live in our region, you would know that's very, very important. We'd like to start this project and launch it in August of 2024. And I'd also like to introduce Jason Buba and give him an opportunity from NORCAT to talk a little bit about our partnership. Jason.
Thank you, Amber. For the record, my name is Jason Buba, and I am the Chief Operating Officer at NORCAT. A very brief introduction to NORCAT, if I may. NORCAT has a 30-year history of delivering mining and skilled labor training and consulting services internationally. We're also designated as a mining innovation center by the province of Ontario, where we're based, and are unique in the world as we're the only not-for-profit organization with our own operating mine that's dedicated to the development of mining innovation technologies and mine skills training. We're also recognized by industry as global leaders in learning technology development, and this experience and know-how is what we're going to be bringing to the GBC NORCAT partnership and to the skilled labor industries in Nevada. Now, I'd like to highlight that I met Governor Lombardo at the Nevada Trade Mission in Toronto, Canada last September. And that event was very effective, where Canadian firms were able to discuss their capabilities, their experience, while the Nevada government and education and mining companies were able to discuss their needs and the opportunities to work together and to collaborate in Nevada and build a mutually beneficial innovative mining ecosystem. And it was so effective that here we are just 10 months later, and NORCAT is very proud to be establishing our U.S. location in the state of Nevada and in partnership with Great Basin College, who also embody the spirit and collaboration of lifelong learning. So Governor Lombardo, Sheldon Mudd, and Dr. Chris Sanchez, who came up to visit us in Canada and see us firsthand, and the entire team at GOED have been extremely supportive and have really made it an easy choice to set up our U.S. home in Nevada. So thank you for your consideration and time this afternoon.
Thank you. Do we have any questions in this application?
This is Chris Sanchez for the record. Jason, good to see you. I think it was actually a year ago, almost to the day, that we were together and touring, and it was great to see all the capability there. And one thing that I do want to mention that I thought you might perhaps mention in your remarks, but they do a lot of training with virtual reality, and they have some really unique capabilities that are kind of best in class for the industry. And it'll be great, I'm sure, over time as you all settle in, that you'll bring some of that capability to Nevada. So it's good to see you, and I congratulate you on the effort that you've had over the years and getting to know the mines and the operators here in Nevada and seeing this through. So.
Thank you, Chris. Good to see you as well. And absolutely, as part of this funding package request is our learning technologies. We'll be bringing the latest and greatest of virtual reality, augmented reality, simulation training tools, and bringing that to the Nevada mining industry so that we can implement that almost since day one. So thank you, Chris.
Any other questions or comments? All right, for the record, Governor Lombardo, Jason, Amber, Nicole, thank you for your effort. It's very heartwarming to hear when you have verbal effort that it actually comes to fruition. Quite often we are just disappointed across the board, but you three were true to your word, and I appreciate your efforts in this space, especially for the need in this particular discipline within the state of Nevada. So with that being said, I'll entertain a motion for approval.
Sasha Stevenson, so moved.
Amen, second.
All right, we have a motion for approval. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any against, no? Hearing none, the motion passes. Thank you, everybody. Appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Governor.
You're really helping us what we need here in Nevada.
Greatly appreciated.
All right, that will, my understanding, we deleted these additional items, so we will end the WIN application. Thank you, Ms. Silverstone. Appreciate your presentations. And we'll move on to agenda item number 10, board member comments. Do we have any additional comments from any of the board members today?
Governor, it's Sasha Stevenson. I just want to say for the record, I think it's really exciting to see the first trade mission of your administration become so successful and result in so many different collaborations and projects. So,
well, that was probably directly related to your efforts also, correct?
not at all.
Yeah. No, absolutely, I agree with you. And you know, that's the frustrating part. Obviously, you don't see any fruits of your efforts, and in this case, we're seeing the fruits. So, thank you, Sasha, and all your coordination associated with that. Any other comments from any other board members? All right, hearing none, we will close agenda item number 10. Agenda item number 11, Governor Lombardo's comments. I think I've made my comments earlier in the presentation, so we will close 11, move on to 12, the second opportunity for public comment. Do we have any public comment there in Las Vegas?
Melanie Sheldon, for the record, we do not.
Do we have any here in Carson? No? All right, hearing none, seeing none. Do we have any on Teams and or the phone?
No, Governor.
All right. We'll move to agenda item number 13, and I'll move for adjournment. Do I have a second?
Yolanda, second it.
All right. We have a motion. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
I assume I will not hear a no. And motion passes. Thank you, everybody. Great meeting.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Over and under.
Sorry. I just gotta